Ladies and gentlemen, we are live.
Hey.
We are live. Did you already share that tidbit there?
Germany? Oh, yeah, I think you said it.
Oh, okay. I don't know if I already shared that tidbit there.
Your camera's off.
Who's mine?
Your camera's not looking at you live.
Oh, there it is.
That is.
There it is.
Go make a post on the Facebook. Mm-hmm. What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on that crazy old bus trying to get his way home. Yeah. No?
Yeah, that's pretty jazzy.
What are you guys all writing over there? You both, one going right-handed, one going left-handed?
Yeah, left-handed people weird.
They're unnatural, to be honest.
Ugh, yuck.
Get a life, left-handed freak.
Something about looking at a left-handed person right makes
What's
me
it like
sick.
growing up in a right-handed world, E.T.?
Yeah.
Being a left-handed
I wouldn't
feel
know.
like
I grew
you-
up in a left-handed world.
I feel like you're in a minority.
No, I mean, let's be for real. You're one of those lefties.
Lefty. Why don't you go to Leftorium, lefty?
Left or
Yeah.
the left-handed emporium.
No.
How easy is it to open cans
Not
with a can?
can openers suck, actually.
The old left-handed can opener.
Yeah, there we go. We need that.
How come I keep spelling fourth?
Oh, that
Cool
ain't
story,
right.
bro. That's neat. Why don't you tell another one?
Are we live right
Yeah.
now?
Yeah, on the YouTube.
I mean, I know you tell me that we're live, but I don't really know if we're actually live.
This is all simulation.
I mean, I don't know if I can believe you about it or not.
You can trust him.
Are you sure?
You don't trust your own brother? What kind of world we live in?
Are you?
If only we bring
Sure.
God back to schools, you wouldn't think like that.
Oh, what was World Trade Center 7? Ah.
All right, post is posted.
Posted.
Was there anybody in the building?
Don't make me say it. If this was Xbox Live, there's only one answer for that.
What building?
No, your mama. I'm going to throw this out there. For anybody watching on YouTube besides JB, if you want to play like Halo with us, send us a message on Facebook. That'd be weird, playing Halo with listeners.
Yeah, we
I'll
don't want
with
you to
it.
get your ass kicked, though.
You can't be any worse than Eric.
No, and unless you're Everett.
Psh, I'll whip your ass 1v1 any day.
Yeah, except that one.
That one time 3 or 4 years ago that you still lord over me. Anyway,
Wait, so you beat him all the time since?
no, I beat him. Shut up, Alex. You're out of your element.
Don't even try, Alex, because he ain't very good.
You're out of your element. You're like a 3-year-old wandering into a conversation. No, you know what I'm talking. You know I'm not being a dick rat. I'm just quoting that movie.
You're going to have to be more Pacific.
Pacific, gotta be more Pacific.
Like Hawaiian?
Yeah, I'm more of an islander nation.
Come on, brah.
Polynesian.
You know I'm not trying to be a dick, brah. I was quoting Lebowski, brah.
Brah.
Come on, you howley. You know what they call him?
Howley.
Yeah, something like that. Anyway, you guys about ready? Are you
Let's
all-
do
I've
it,
been
man.
waiting. I'm just drawing. It's doodling now.
I'm doodling in my doodles. My doodler.
Only doodle your... Never mind.
I'm doodling my doodler in my
doodle your
to-doodlers.
brother's doodler.
You shut up. My God. No, I'm just kidding.
That was a bit of an incest gay joke.
Why you gotta make jokes, man, about gay people and ancestors? They're still people. You don't... I'm not gonna judge them. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah, we've been ready. We were born ready.
You've been sitting over there on
I
your
literally
phone playing...
just told you I was ready.
Playing Brick Breaker on your BlackBerry.
No, I haven't. No.
This podcast is brought to you
Over
by
here doing an 8,000-foot descending
lineupmedia.fm.
270-degree corkscrew. That's what I've been
I'll
doing.
do an 8,000-foot descending corkscrew elbow to your brain.
No, you won't. Off the top rope.
I think that's
Macho Man.
Macho
I don't think
Man's
so.
new move from heaven.
You're listening
Watch
to
yourself.
Surreal Talk, a look inside the world of cults, conspiracies, and the paranormal. Brought to you by lineupmedia.fm.
FM.
The whole truth about JFK, 9/11,
9/11.
Area 51, the Illuminati, the moon landings, Jesus and Magdalene, the CIA, KGB, and AIDS, the reptilian elite, Watergate, the New World Order, Bilderberg, the MK Ultra Project, the history of the world and the oppression of the human consciousness, the truth about God, the devil, heaven, hell, and the delicate fabric of the universe.
You gotta say, I am as mad as hell, and I'm not trying to take this anymore.
Now your hosts, Eric and Everett.
How'd you know he was going to say that?
Welcome to Surreal Talk. I really kind of think that I can read that dude's mind. Because I feel like I know what he's going to say before he says it.
Really?
Yeah, anyway, welcome to Surreal Talk, lineupmedia.fm production, brought to you this week and every week by Amazon and Audible. 30-day free trial. Click the banner.
Surreal Talk.
Save us some money.
Podcast.com/Amazon.
Yeah, that.
Go to our website and just click on literally everything.
Just click all of it. Just go to the website and just start clicking shit.
So welcome back for part 4 of our 9/11 show. We're
Our
doing.
fourth and final installment of our 9/11 extravaganza
Yeah, we
today.
thought we were going to do 5, but we decided to wrap the last topic here, World Trade Center 7,
World
and our
Trade
final
Center
thoughts
7.
into one show because it makes more sense that way.
Yeah, because this World Trade Center 7 really is the conclusion. This is the smoking gun. And let me tell you why.
Why is it? Why
Do
don't you
I
tell
know
us?
why? Yeah, I know why. I know.
I
Okay,
guess.
so the thing is when you ask people all the time, it's like, hey, and this is something that I do to people. I say, hey, how many buildings went down in New York that day? And they're like, 2. I'm like, you don't know shit. Because
3,
3
yeah,
buildings
right,
went
yeah.
down in New
Everybody
York
knows
that
that,
day.
though.
No, not. You know
Except
what?
for that one person.
No, a lot of people don't know that World Trade Center 7 went down.
I watched that whole documentary on History Channel, and it told me that not one thing about World Trade Center 7.
Yeah, it was
the
not
whole
in the
documentary. And then I told my wife right after it was over, I was like, it didn't mention Building 7 at all. She's like, what about Building 7? I was
See?
like, come on, look. I had to-
You poor, sweet, ignorant bastard.
I'm telling you, man. And it wasn't in what they had to come out with the 9/11 commission report had to redo it just to include Building 7. And this said that it came out due to office fires was why it went down officially. Office fires.
Office fires, huh?
Yeah, they said no fuel, oil,
Maybe
or
that's what
explosions.
those blasts you see in
office
that video.
furnishings.
Those were like a TV on the wall exploding from the heat.
I guess maybe it must have been plasma.
Maybe some batteries from the calculators.
Do me a favor, everybody. If you're listening, I would ask you to pause the podcast and
Pause. Just keep listening and bring up your laptop.
Well, if you've got multiple devices, that's fine. But go to YouTube and search World Trade Center 7 detonation sequence. And if you ever had a thought in your mind as to what a controlled demolition was, that's it. And that's what makes
There's
this
also
thing.
a lot of good comparison videos like of what a controlled demolition in another environment looks like side by side with a couple more plus World Trade Center 7. And it's identical.
And that's the thing. Okay, so no plane hit World Trade Center 7. Now what World Trade Center
Only
1 and 2 are the north
supposed
and south.
flaming debris.
No, yeah, flaming debris hit it, and office furnishing fires is what brought it down.
It didn't come down until about 5:20.
Yeah, it was like 8 hours afterwards.
So it was
yeah.
quite a while later.
Mm-hmm. And some of the speculation is that Flight 93, the one that went down in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, was supposed to be headed for World Trade Center 7. Yeah. So let me explain to you why it's such a big deal that no plane hit that tower and it still came down at free fall speed. So when you watch the videos of World Trade Center 7 coming down, it literally falls with zero resistance. I mean, just...
It seemed like the center of the building started coming in a little faster than the edges, like you would see on every other demolition site.
On every controlled demolition. And I had somebody ask me one time, well, what does it matter if it was a controlled demolition?
For office fires, there was like not any smoke, like the amount you think pouring out of the building required to bring it down.
Right. So, and someone asked me, well, what does it matter if it was a controlled demolition? And here's the thing. A controlled demolition To bring a building down in its own footprint, it takes weeks to plan.
Right.
Weeks to plan.
And the timing has got to be impeccable to get your destinations off at the right time to cause it to
Even
fall
if you
the
do
right
it,
direction.
it's not an easy thing to do dirty. Basically, is what you're saying. Just on by the seat of your pants.
Right, yeah, no,
you can't go in the night before with a bunch of shape charges. And
No, this is a specialized team that does this for a living. To bring a building down like that, you have to know what you're doing. This is
Right.
not some idiot can just do this.
This is
okay?
the type of team NASA would hire to go to the asteroid if they needed to blow it down the middle.
Well, I don't know about that good. There's probably many companies that do controlled demolition.
No, I'm just making a joke about how, in the movie Armageddon where they hired the drillers.
Oh,
Okay, but
yeah.
so-
we need a driller.
Well, we
for
need a
this
team
job.
of demolition experts as good as those drillers.
Yep.
Okay, so why is World Trade Center 7 being a controlled demolition so important? Because a controlled demolition takes weeks to plan. And if they had the weeks to plan this, they knew that this building was coming down. And if they knew that this building was
Smell
coming
that?
down, they knew the other
Smoke
ones.
from a gun.
Yeah, that means World Trade Center 7
What a
is the smoking
coincidence.
gun. And if they knew that building was coming down, they knew the Twin Towers were coming down. And that World Trade Center 7 basically just makes the entire story fall apart. Because with all the inconsistencies at the Pentagon, with all the inconsistencies at the Twin Towers, when you look at World Trade Center 7 and no plane hit that building, and you watch it come down in 6.5 seconds, that's like a 44-story steel frame building. I mean, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen from office fires. So it was built in 1985. World Trade Center 7, and it's called the Solomon Building, because the very top floor is rented to Solomon Smith and Barney. It's a financial institution. But other offices that were in World Trade Center 7 were the IRS Regional Council, the United States Secret Service, the CIA, the American Express Bank Institution, Stanford Chartered Bank, Provident Financial Management, ITT Hartford Insurance Group, First State Management Group, Federal Home Loan Bank, NAIC Securities and Exchange Commissions, the Mayor Office of Emergency Management. So now, all of these are huge banking institutions and government institutions. So that's all it is government and banking institutions here in World Trade Center 7. Why is that important, you might ask?
Yes, I do ask.
I'm sorry. If it was a controlled demolition, was there a lot of injuries or people died in the building?
No, funny you should bring that up because there was no one in the building. They had evacuated World Trade Center 7.
Building?
Yeah, it was, and it's funny because the Office of Emergency Management, which is where the mayor goes when things are out of control, like if there's a terrorist attack or
a flood,
anything. So that's OEM, the Office of Emergency Management. For New York, the mayor's is located in World Trade Center 7. So when these attacks started happening, the mayor didn't go to his reinforced office that he goes to, because
he should have been in that building.
He should have been in there, yeah. The mayor and his whole team should have been in there assessing the situation, figuring out what's going on, because that's what the Office of Emergency Management does. You know what I mean? And they weren't there. We don't need to be in this building.
Well, with being that close to downtown, I wouldn't want to be anywhere near that building either.
I guess, fair enough.
I wonder how far away it was from the...
Close enough to get hit by flying debris.
So when the buildings came down, that's when it sustained its official damage.
Exactly.
That pyroclastic flow, as you called it.
Right. Whenever I
Had
watched
a lot of flaming shit.
When I watched the video of it, it seemed like for about 2 seconds there was just windows exploding outward and flashes of lights just almost randomly or throughout the whole building, and then it comes down. So even if it was an office fire, it must have hit something that caused a big explosion.
Those
all
are
over.
probably just a couple short circuits.
Okay,
Is there gas lines?
This is
running
pretty
up through the
interesting
building,
right here.
Boom, boom, boom.
In the months leading up, the floor of the Office of Emergency Management, which is on the 23rd floor, Mayor Giuliani's, it received $15 million worth of renovations, including independent and secure air and water supplies, bullet and bomb-resistant windows designed to withstand 200-mile-per-hour winds. So how curious is it on the day of the attack that Giuliani and his entourage set up shop in a different headquarters altogether, abandoning the special bunker designed precisely for such an event? I thought that was pretty crazy.
That's pretty nuts.
Yeah. And then another damning piece of evidence was, remember we talked about Lucky Larry Silverstein, the guy that made all the money off of
Larry.
Oh, Lucky Larry. He was interviewed in a 2003 PBS documentary about the World Trade Center attacks, and he was quoted saying, "There was such a great loss of life that we decided that it would be best to pull it. So that's what we did. We pulled it." And if you know what pull it is, that's a demolition term. And he's talking about World Trade Center 7. When asked about World Trade Center 7, there was such a great loss of life, we decided to just pull it.
That doesn't make sense.
No, that does make sense. That means Larry Silverstein knew that it was to be pulled. And you can't set that kind of demolition up in a day. Yeah, and like I said, you can look on this documentary. He even said
so he's saying that
they made the decision to pull it.
So he's saying, for one, he knows it was demolished.
Yes.
Two, that they sent teams in that day and set up the demolition.
No,
So that's what he's saying, though.
No, he's not saying that. He said that they made the decision to pull it.
You have to figure that's his assumption.
Right, but I'm not assuming anything. I'm going with fact here. That's what he said. He was quoted as saying that we made the decision to pull it. So regardless of what you want to think that he knew before or after, that's all speculation here. And this one, as a conspiracy show, this is different because I'm going for all fact in this one, ladies and gentlemen. We're really not speculating on all this. This is a lot of this stuff is all fact. Another thing, they announced that the Solomon Building was already down 20 minutes before it got brought down, live on air, BBC. The reporter's in the camera, much like I'm in right now, and she's going, oh, yeah, the Solomon Building just went down, and right behind the bitch in the skyline, you can see World Trade Center 7 right behind her. And she's like, yeah, it just got brought down, and this is live on air, BBC. Yeah,
that's on Facebook now, or Facebook, YouTube?
That's on YouTube, yes. And so, like, this chick, they already knew that this building was coming down, even in BBC. Britain, what is that, BBC? British Broadcasting Company. Okay, so they knew that this building was coming down. She reported it 20 minutes before it happened.
How the fuck would the Brits know?
People were complicit. I'm not going to pretend to know that I know how the Brits knew, but I'm saying they reported it 20 minutes before it went down.
There's so much of this stuff that's almost contradictory. It's like there's just everybody in the world was in on it, but nobody in the world was in on it. You know what I mean?
Doesn't that sound like the best conspiracy you've ever heard of?
That'd be the easiest way to get away with it.
Yeah, really.
You'd have to think somebody would come out with like, oh, yeah, I was in on it. Or you think they're killing every one of them.
No, man. I don't know, man. Building 7, though, I know that there was no plane that hit it, and it fell at free fall speed. So you tell me how that happened from office fires on a steel reinforced building.
The videos I've seen, it clearly looks like a demo. I mean,
you can hear and see the bombs going off inside the building.
And when I'm pretty sure that was WTC 7 that was shown in the video.
That's exactly what it was. So, I wouldn't steer you wrong.
Maybe you would, maybe you wouldn't.
Maybe I would, but and with the war games on the same day at the same time of everything that happened.
Wait, they scheduled war games?
Yeah, there was war games, active war games.
We talked about this episode 1, I think.
Yeah, right? that's why the fighter jets couldn't be scrambled, because they were out over the Atlantic Ocean for 3 hours.
And then when they were told to come back, they didn't even move it, like you said earlier,
a fraction of their speed. Yes.
And they had the training rounds only, so they couldn't explode on impact when they shot at anything.
Have you guys ever heard of Barry Jennings?
No.
Yeah, he's that guy that sells pizza out by the stadium.
Negative. He was an important eyewitness to the events of 9/11. At the time, he was the Deputy Director of Emergency Services Department for the New York City Housing Authority. Together with Michael Hess, the New York City Corporation Counsel, an associate of Rudy Giuliani, was rescued from World Trade Center 7 before it collapsed at 5:20 p.m. On several occasions, Jennings stated that an explosion trapped them in World Trade Center 7. An explosion before the collapses of World Trade Center 1 and 2. Okay, so this is a government employee here.
Said there was an explosion before the other two buildings.
Before the other two came down. So they had to rescue him.
It's an inconsistency, but don't you think it could have just been like, oh, I was confused and said the wrong thing?
No. It says they were saved on track. No, not at all. Not in my book. Jennings Jennings reportedly died in 2008 in highly suspicious circumstances. I'm going to have to actually look up what those circumstances were. But
you think it was Hillary, don't you?
No, I wouldn't say it was Hillary, but
she's the queen of Hillary.
Okay, so here's something interesting about him. Barry Jennings testified to NIST in 2004, the National Institute of Standard Technology, the people that were responsible for the model of WTC 7, but they never used his testimony. Never once released it or used it.
They probably found him unreliable or implausible.
An actual eyewitness from inside the building was unreliable. That's a goddamn government for you, man. But this World Trade Center 7, man, that's the bad one. That to me, that's like
even though nobody died, that's
getting caught with your hand in the cookie jar, man.
Between that and the Pentagon.
Yeah, dude, it's all bad news, man. Bad.
They should have hired somebody in Hollywood because they could have done a much better job of convincing people than that. You know
right. I mean, what was it? Stanley Kubrick faked the moon landing perfectly, and
well, I don't agree with that.
But I'm just saying, man. All the stuff that happened on 9/11. And there's still people that don't know that there was a building that didn't get hit by a plane that fell down at free fall speed.
Well, hopefully somebody comes across our videos on YouTube or finds our podcast and gets some eye-opening info here.
Even if you don't see that very good quality footage you saw earlier, Everett, there's a lot of videos of Building 7 falling.
Oh, yeah.
You can still, in every one of them, you may not see the small explosions, but you will see it falling in unprecedented speed.
It came down in 6.5 seconds, man. And that's just
How many
unheard of.
stories is it?
It was like
40?
40, I can't remember, 40-something stories, though, in 6.5 seconds, and that's just unreal. But yeah, I mean, I personally, I think that the war on terror, the Patriot Act, all this internal spying, the push to criminalize government dissent. You know how, like, if you're dissent towards the government, it's okay. So they're trying
like in North Korea, whenever if you see anything bad about the president,
exactly.
you get killed. Or
Why would you ever say anything bad about Glorious
I feel
Leader?
like all of that is
He shot at 17 in a round of golf.
yeah.
18
I feel
holes.
like all of this is because of the official story of 9/11,
He's so
the
lucky.
19 hijackers and all that. Everything, all of this is because of that. The war on terror, the Patriot Act, the non-disclosure, all of that. Everything is because of these 9/11 attacks. All this that happened.
It's ushered in what we consider our modern world now, that's for sure.
Yeah, exactly. It is
they
definitely
constantly
played a part.
reinforce it in the media too that it's okay. That's the way it used to be, and that's not like today. They
Everybody's
always say
fine with it.
used to
Well,
be.
for the most part, I'm fine with most of these new security considerations, just in case maybe once in a while they do save a life. Keep some idiot from getting on a plane with this or that he shouldn't have had.
Right.
I'll take a little bit of a delay, but some of this shit, like where you can't have more than 3 ounces of like shampoo, calm down.
What about the part where you can indefinitely detain American citizens without trial or due process?
Oh, I'm fine with that.
Really?
No, definitely. Come
that's
on.
Gestapo. That's
Yeah.
SS style.
That,
yeah.
and that's America. They can do that. They can come right now and pick us three out of this studio right now and say, look, your podcast is done. You crossed the line.
They'll never take you alive. I won't let them.
No, they won't. You're absolutely right. But I don't know, man. What are your guys' your feelings about this? I know.
I think it's international. I don't think it's so much about the American people.
Well, like you said before in one of the earlier episodes, the Saudis now are shown purportedly to have something to do with it. Mm-hmm. There's probably definitely people in the government who are at least complicit.
Right. Well, hell, 441 days passed before they even started the 9/11 Commission. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, we had already fought 2 wars.
Right.
You know how memories degrade over time,
We
too.
sent here. Check this out. Anytime there's a murder or even a fucking crime, there's a crime scene and an investigation. Okay.
Generally,
So when World Trade Center 1 and 2 came down,
They
why
didn't
wasn't
even rope off the bitch.
why
Yeah.
wasn't there a crime scene and an investigation? Instead, they spent the next 3 months. But wait a minute. You know which building got shipped out first, don't you?
Huh.
7 to China. First things first. The day after
Get that
they started
scrap out.
shipping it out. Yep. World Trade Center 7 got shipped to China for recycling as soon as the buildings were done, man.
Well,
that
they
was
couldn't
it.
have shipped that to Pittsburgh or something.
Well,
what the hell?
yeah, but they didn't
always
want,
sunny. Oh, that's
yeah, they didn't
Philadelphia.
want it in Pittsburgh, man.
Uh-huh.
They wanted it in China.
Too easy to find there.
Yeah, this 9/11, man, it really will make you think. It really will. I mean,
it started the war in Iraq, and
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest blunders of military history.
Think about the possibilities if the government was involved and have kept any kind of knowledge of what they have secret. What else are they hiding? This is the big one. This is the one where it's not just did we fake the moon landing? Do we talk to aliens? There's 3,000 people, civilians killed.
Yeah, they killed their own
Another
people.
10,000 injured. You know what I mean? If they are fine and complicit, what the hell else? There might as well be aliens. 'Cause
Right.
that's small change.
Well, and I've also heard that Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset named Tim Osman. That that he was just a puppet that they used. They had to have a face. You know what I mean?
to make it.
At first,
you
the
gotta
face
have
was
a target. You gotta
exactly.
have a
At
bad
first,
guy.
the face was Al Qaeda and the Taliban, and then Saddam Hussein and
They had to get more specific. They needed a certain
Osama
person.
bin Laden, and now it's the war on terror. There's no defined enemy. You know what I mean? There's no end. There's no. How do you win that?
They tried,
when do you win?
They went in.
When is it over?
They went in and killed Saddam Hussein, and just to get rid of the terrorists. I assume that was why, because he was complacent and there was a state-sponsored terrorism.
we were all told we had weapons of mass destruction, and
Which there was none.
and that turned out just
Not
to be
that we found,
a
no.
big lie. Is all it was.
Saddam and Muammar Gaddafi kept the Middle East in check. You know, there was no ISIS.
Well,
no,
they were
that's fair. That's
ruling
fair.
with an iron fist. Okay,
Right,
They,
okay,
they
but-
were terrible to their own
but you didn't
people.
have these uprisings of these groups whenever Saddam and
rebels.
yeah, exactly. When they were in there, things were a little more stable. So
Wow.
by destabilizing,
I never thought I would hear in my life somebody be like, it was a good thing that we had Gaddafi and fucking Saddam.
No, it
I'm
was
glad.
a bad thing that we killed them. We didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
They were-
right. We didn't need to be over there. That was none of our fucking business. We destabilized the Middle East, and like you were saying earlier,
You
left
sound
the vacuum of
unpatriotic.
power.
Huh?
Like you were
Oh,
saying
right.
earlier, it left the vacuum of power to only be filled by another terrorist organization.
Well, you didn't know if it was going to be a terrorist organization at the time, but I'm sure somebody made the political call to say, well, not only that, but the general sentiment in the country was America just came in and invaded us and killed everyone, so now we all hate America. And it's only gotten worse and worse since then with the extremists.
Well, right, and at the same time, you know, these guys that are 25, 30 years old that are members of ISIS. You know, when we were kicking indoors in Desert Shield and Desert Storm, these guys were
Or
probably
5,
5
6,
years
8
old,
years
and we
old.
watched us shoot their moms and dads in the face, in Operation Desert
Right.
Shield and Storm. So now they're 25, 30, they're pissed off. I could see how they hate America, you know what I mean? Now they've been blamed for knocking down the towers.
Let me throw you something on the other side.
Let's hear it.
Please.
How all these other countries hate America and all their policing action and whatnot. Are you going to let these madmen just continually run wild over their own people? What kind of conscience do you have where you can just let that happen forever?
Isn't
And
that
all
what-
these other countries are like, fuck America for going there and sticking their nose in where it didn't belong.
Right.
But at the same time, you're going to let this madman continue to,
But that's the
savage
thing,
over
though. It's all perspective, because who says who's a madman? You know, they said that Gaddafi was using the weapons
Okay,
on
if-
his own people, but that wasn't it. It turned out that the rebels that we armed were the ones that were using the sarin gas on the.
Let's
on
go
the
back
Libyans.
to Saddam. What about whenever he killed all those Shiites, like in the early 80s or whatever?
Okay, I don't remember that.
Right.
He killed this whole like village of these type of Muslims or whatever. I don't know what the names of like the two types of people
Sunni
that-
and Shiite.
yeah, or something like that. Anyway, they killed this whole village of them. That was in his trial. That was one of the things they tried him for, was killing all these people.
I think that's actually what he got hung for, because I know he didn't get hung for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You can't let somebody who does that sort of thing to his own people
Yeah,
live.
but I
let 'em
understand, I understand persecuting him and prosecuting him, but as America, we don't need to do that. That's a United Nations thing.
Yeah, you
Well,
let
which
him,
is-
as long as it serves your country's interest, you let him do that.
I agree. There should be a no.
The problem is once you start giving UN that kind of power, they can walk over and take any country they want.
And I think that could be part of the end game here is the United Nations. It's all working towards the one world government. You know what I mean?
You know what we need is somebody fucking you can count on. Somebody straight.
America.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Bernie Sanders. We had him. Once in a
Bernie's
lifetime
a fucking
candidate.
prick, man. You know what? He
Yeah,
took his money, bought his houses.
You
got
trust him to
out.
defend
he
the
was
nation?
threatened. Did you?
Oh,
guys
he was
see all
threatened.
that?
No, then he's
Julian
a pussy.
Assange just
He's not the guy we
released
needed. If he
those
can be
wiki-
The
threatened-
WikiLeaks
yeah, the
guy said it,
WikiLeaks,
so
the WikiLeaks guy said it, man.
would he lie? That guy says all kinds of stuff.
Yes, he
But
does.
he says he has evidence, but you never see it.
Not yet, anyway, huh?
All right, he says he got all kinds of evidence on the Trump campaign and Hillary's emails and everything else.
Wow, there's some guy on our YouTube chat that claims he's the God of Jesus.
I am the God of Jesus. Click on my channel and read the automatically playing video to see that I am the God of Jesus.
Huh. Thanks, God of Jesus, for
Cool, buddy.
coming into our chat and introducing yourself.
Right on.
I didn't think I was going to get up this morning and meet the God of Jesus.
I thought I got up this morning thinking just 9/11, and
Yeah.
here we are in omnipotent presence. The God of Jesus is here with us.
Thanks
so.
for watching. I mean,
Thank
why do
you.
you need to watch if you're the God of Jesus? You should know what
Yeah,
we're going to
hey,
say.
can we ask you some questions?
Yeah, you know what the deal is.
Yeah, right. I want to know about some.
Well, since 9/11, I've noticed it's almost like a holiday now. Everywhere you go on 9/11, there's people throwing specials and deals and having big 9/11 parties. It's
9/11 equals ratings.
It's only
Hear that, listeners?
well,
It's only a matter of time before they
Damn.
No, but they
declare it a national
know
holiday.
that you've had this for months.
Right.
Something you wanted
This-
to do.
this
so
was
it's
the-
not like you're doing this for a ratings grab.
no, man, this is my passion. This conspiracy theory is not conspiracy theory anymore. This is conspiracy fact. Like I said, we've really. Have we done any speculating in these last 4 episodes at all? I mean, everything we've laid out has strictly been fact. You can look up all of this stuff that we've said.
Okay, here's the part that I have trouble with.
Oh, here's the disclaimer.
The disclaimer is you don't know how accurate your sources are.
Fair enough.
Some of these websites you get are like www.secretnewsoftheworldtruth.org.com / the truth about 9/11
Slash Osama bin Laden.
Yeah, .htm.
If you can dispute anything I'm saying, you're more than welcome
cannot,
to.
I
I
cannot.
didn't think so.
So I really am putting it to all of our listeners out there. Send us a barrage of email disputing and Eric and telling
man,
him
I
what
would
he
love
said
that.
wrong. And tell us what the right way is. Fuck it, I'll put a page on our website. With any mail people send, I'll take a screenshot of that mail and I'll put it up on the website.
For what?
Just because, for any evidence they want to, like their notes on it, like just whatever you want to send
anything we've missed.
us. Yeah, send it to us, and we'll use it as our crowdsourced research.
Crowdsourced research. There you go.
You know what I mean?
I do.
I'm wondering some of the longer-lasting effects since 9/11. What kind of things have?
Well, there's air marshals now.
Yeah.
That was one
You guys
good
don't
thing
fly,
we
do you?
touched on
The
a
current
few times.
molestation as you go through the gates at security at an airport. You know what I mean?
Dude, I've flown so many
children aren't
times since
even
9/11. It kind of sucks. I mean, it's
Really?
slow for the most part.
I know on the international flights, it was like 2.5 hours to get back through customs.
It's just inconvenient.
My word.
The stuff you got to go through to like how you have to pack like your stuff.
Right,
and-
like now, if I got to go to my aunt's house in England, I can't take my box cutter
Idiot.
with me.
England?
In
I have
case,
an aunt in England?
No, but you know what I'm saying. Like I can't take my box cutter with me to fix her carpet. You know what I mean?
You can
Because-
buy one when you get there. I think. In that
Thanks, Osama.
I think you can buy one.
Well, I know since we've opened up relations with Cuba, and for years, people with Cuban relatives, they would just load up as much as they can into their airplanes and fly just toasters and whatever they could get back
Toaster ovens and shit.
to Cuba because they didn't have it there,
Yeah, if you look on the internet, you can find like all these the innovations that Cubans have had to come up with for 50 years, not having any outside technology, just the stuff that they've come up with. It's nuts. I say go you, Cuba.
So they didn't find any weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and they know
Nope.
that North Korea has weapons of mass destruction.
And they're
but
not
yet
going in there.
They're not going in there.
No, no, it doesn't suit our interests
What a
at the time.
coincidence.
Yeah, this is and it's hard to say, but this 9/11's all bad, man, and you can point the finger at a lot of different people, but it really just kind of comes back to I mean
When
really,
they started that war, who owned a major portion of Halliburton? Was it Dick Cheney?
Yes, it was. He was the former CEO. I
The
believe.
amount of just defense contracts he got from that war probably made him a multimillionaire at least.
Right, yeah, and he was actually, well, we talked about that earlier. He was the one that came out saying that Flight 93 was shot down whenever it just got brought down by the passengers.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
Well, you guys want to mosey on into final thoughts?
yeah. I mean, what do you think about it, man?
I can't stand the raping of our liberties that this Patriot Act has entailed.
So your problem with 9/11, and it's completely valid, is that they took the cost of our civil liberties in exchange for what safety
For
we get out of it.
security and
For
safety,
security.
you're never
The
going to be
cost was too high.
No matter what, you're never going to be safe. Not completely. There's no way to get 100% safe from
That's
anything.
fair, but what if the 10 to 15% safer we are has actually prevented this from happening again? We don't know that it has or
Eventually,
not.
if there's a long enough timeline, it's going to happen again.
Sure, but what I'm saying is, what if without the security, it would have already happened again?
Well, then that's just something I would be willing to deal with. To
You'd be willing to deal with
be able to
several
travel
thousand more
freely
deaths.
throughout the
That's
nation,
kind of,
not be able to harass and not have people that
That's
are
kind of
innocent.
selfish of you, sir.
Well, it's not the problem right now. It's the powers that they are
And
available
interstate
to
travel
them.
within our country is not a problem, so that's just invalid.
No,
I drive all over the country, coast to coast.
never get stopped
Never
for being out of
since
state.
2011. No.
Well, you're lucky
I've
you're
driven
not
to
a
California.
Latino
I've
because
driven
it
to
happens
Maine.
to
I've
them
driven
all
in
the
Alaska.
time.
Well, that's true. I'm not of color.
And
I don't know how they live,
Oh.
which is what's
lost
going
where I
on.
was at.
That's because you won't shut up.
Fuck. Sorry. Anyway. No,
So-
I don't buy the whole 9/11 thing. The whole story, though. Long story short,
Nope.
there's way more to it than it seems.
Yeah, there's nothing that can convince me that this was
Well,
happened how they say it happened. I'm not going to sit here and pretend to know how it happened. I'm not going to say that I know exactly how it happened.
I know
I
What
don't
you know is that there's inconsistencies.
yeah,
I know
there-
that it started a war in Iraq and that thousands of American military guys died because of it.
Right,
And I
yeah.
know this.
Yeah, because you want
And
to put.
probably a million Iraqis. But
The-
was that worth it?
You're starting off with these 3,000, but that's not to
3,000
mention.
people in the buildings.
But that's not to mention the Muslims that have been killed since then over all of this,
and even
Iraq.
our veterans. I mean, 22 veterans a day commit suicide because of what they saw in Iraq. It's still continuing to take lives,
Yep.
as far as I'm concerned.
This 9/11 was a bad deal all the way around for everybody involved, every American citizen. I mean,
Hard
it's
to believe 15 years later, though, it's still as hardcore as it was then.
no, not really. I mean, because that was a very tragic deal, man. Like you said, they killed 3,000 Americans. They took down 3 buildings.
But what I mean is like how going strong. You know what I mean? The patriotism, the movement. The
truth movement's big on this, man.
I'm
because
not talking about that. You're not with me here. The how you called it earlier, the false patriotism. It's not really false patriotism. People are really patriotic still.
Right.
The lasting.
My point is that
impression.
it's like, you know, when a sports team moves into town, it's like, you know, 3 or 4 years there's good hype for that team.
Yeah, Rams.
It's been 15 years since 9/11, and people are still like, you know,
it's
waving
almost
the flag.
getting bigger.
Yeah.
You know?
It's still in everyone's hearts and minds,
Yeah.
man. It was a tragic event that's
Let me throw
not
this to you.
easily forgettable.
When you were born,
Never
15
forget.
years before you were born, you know what year it was? 1968.
Okay.
Vietnam was going on.
Right.
So
There's a lot of
that's a long freaking time. 15 years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, between Vietnam and 2001, there was so much anti-military sentiment over what happened in Vietnam that this almost turned around people's opinions of.
I wonder how much it
military
increased,
is.
like enlistment.
Oh, I bet a whole lot.
Yeah,
In
I
fact,
would-
there was a miniature baby boom shortly thereafter because of it.
Interesting.
I can't say that after I heard about all this, I wasn't like fuck Iraq and Saddam and you know, I mean, because when I first heard this and I
You were
didn't, and I
buying
didn't
Toby Keith albums.
exactly, I didn't sort through the bullshit when this first came out. You know what I
You
mean?
remember when
It
the
took a
Dixie
while.
Chicks said some shit about George Bush, and they just
They lost their whole career.
Yeah.
yeah. Nobody's heard, they're playing like state fairs now.
Yeah,
State fairs pay really good, I hear, actually.
Still, they're not playing the Grand Ole Opry, which I don't know if that's still a thing.
Oh, it is.
All right, well, have we said our final thoughts?
I mean, yeah, 9/11 was an inside job. No, I'm not going to say that, but it was definitely not an outside job.
How do you know that?
I don't.
They said Saudi Arabia did it, our greatest ally in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Or at least
How does that even add up?
Here's something I don't get. How are you going to put Saudi Arabia on the Humanitarian Council and give them the Humanitarian Award when they behead more people than any other country in the world? And they're
They just, like last year, allow their women to drive.
right.
That just happened
Come
in
on, man.
2015.
And you're humanitarians.
that means in about 20 years they should be getting around him, Michael
voting.
Jackson.
They'll maybe vote.
Yeah, well, they might wear bikinis or take their hats off.
So for everyone out there in La La Land that's listening to us and watching us, how do you guys feel about 9/11? Because we don't feel good about it here.
Yep. Anyway, when you find this post on our website, make some comments on it.
Yeah, like,
Send us your
share,
emails.
subscribe, do the whole nine.
We'll
Let us
blow it
know.
up. We'll blow
Info at surrealtalkpodcast.com. Email us. Let us know what you think.
Yep.
Give us your thoughts on 9/11. Tell us what you think. Until then, it's been great.
Hey, what are we doing next week? Do we know?
I don't know. I mean, Strawman sounded good, but whatever.
Cool.
Strawman?
Strawman?
I
No,
bet some
Strawman?
straw man.
No, we're not
hijacked
doing
the
Strawman.
plane.
We'll talk about it.
Well,
We'll figure it out.
how you gonna put me on a spot like that and then shut me down?
Well, I thought you knew already.
Yeah, I did. Strawman.
We're not doing Strawman next
Oh,
week.
okay. So how you gonna put me on a shot and shut me down?
Shut up. Anyway, all right. We'll catch you all next week.
Have a good week.
Bye.
Bye.
I never heard of no Strawman.
He's just non-conspiracy types.
You got a security card?
Yeah.